How exactly has Eamon used long form and short form content to generate over 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube alone and more than 6 million across all of his platforms? He's produced more than 1,525 posts in just the last 90 days. Actually, every single hour, that number keeps on continuing to rise. Now, you already know what these posts are. The talking head videos, the podcast clips, the behind the scenes look, aka vlogs, and the IG carousels showing his life. My name is Max Mueller. I'm the CEO of the Video Editing Experts, and today you and I are taking a look at Eamon's content playbook so that we can understand what exactly to do and what not to do when looking to grow your brand. Plus, at the end, I show exactly how to systemize your content so you can produce way more videos, just like Eamon has been doing in the last 90 days. Now, one thing that's harder to see that's definitely been a part of his growth is how he's extending his reach by getting onto other people's platforms. For example, just recently, he was featured on Ryan Serhant's YouTube channel, and Ryan Serhant has more than 1.3 million subscribers. Not to mention other collabs with Mike Thurston, Nico Leonard. Those guys also have more than 1 million subscribers each. But let's take a look at what you can control besides trying to get onto a giant YouTuber's channel. Eamon's content output. Of the last 1,525 posts, guess how many were long form videos? Just 15. More than 1,500 of those 1,525 were short form videos. But before you think that you should just be doing short form content, Eamon is very tactically using that long form content. Why? Is because he's a businessman. And as a businessman, especially for the entrepreneurs that are watching this, you want to make sure that you're investing your time and energy in the right place so that you can generate more income and really more impact, as Eamon's trying to do, and doing so successfully with your content. So if the goal is really to generate more income and more impact, it really breaks down to the 3 elements of content. First, we want to be reaching the most amount of people possible. And once we reach those people, we know that a certain percentage will be impressed by what we do, and then a certain percentage of those who are impressed will ultimately convert. Now, Eamon's doing this very well, looking at his ratio of content by leveraging short form videos to reach the most amount of people possible. But Eamon's doing something very tactically with the type of short form that he's doing. Whether it's a clip of his vlogs or even a clip from a podcast interview that he was on, the viewers are always wanting a little bit more because it's coming from something more. Now, this is one of the key differences on the type of short form content to create rather than doing like some random dancing video or some trend. Remember that trend where people would just like kind of point and certain words would pop up and that was the end of the short form video? Yeah, that was it. That was the start and end of the short form. But for a podcast clip, you know that there's way more to it, which leads the short form into the long form. We want to go check out that interview. And once we do, we enter the zone of being impressed. And again, what Eamon's doing so well is he's not just impressing you by being flashy with his new cars and such. He's actually doing a really great job of simple storytelling. Now, whether it's his vlog actually describing how he bought his fancy car, he's bringing you through the story, explaining to you what his options are, why he's looking for a new car, what he's going to pick and what he's not going to pick, and how he successfully got his goal achieved. He's not just showing the flashy life of buying a new Rolls Royce or Range Rover. It's a matter of diving into the personal life and the professional life very tactically. And this is where he grabs what would typically be like a how-to video, but makes it more of like a how-he video. Not just how to start a social media marketing agency, but how he started his social media marketing agency. And those SMMA videos, as they call them, have been some of the pillars of his brand really growing and people really being impressed because he's giving the clear tactics that he's used. And he's not just talking about the professional tactics, but he's also talking about the personal tactics on how to be a true gentleman, how to have honor and integrity, even how to smoke a cigar. This is where his personal brand starts to develop these types of bubbles, where the main center bubble, the core of who he is and how he's really gained the most amount of traction on his channel is his expertise. His core expertise has certainly been in that SMMA space. But what's gained him so much more reach now is that he describes some of the bubbles that directly affect that expertise, such as personal development as a gentleman, as a young gentleman. He's really attracting a lot of late teens and early 20s guys to talk about what it's like to be a man running a business and how those two interact with each other. If you watch Alex Hormozi, who's also been blowing up, you see that his expertise is really in the sales and marketing, but he also talks about the factor of his relationship with his marriage. So when you start to think about your content and your brand and how Eamon's certainly grown his, what exactly is your core expertise? And what are the factors that directly affect that core expertise? What you see on Eamon's channel are the guys that specifically come straight for the expertise and then are impressed by the affecting factors, or they'll come from the factor and then say, oh wow, he has this expertise, I'm also impressed. But that extra factor is really how these brands such as Eamon Ghazi, Alex Hormozi are starting to gain the most amount of reach and biggest audience that they can can possibly tap into. Now, one thing that I'm personally seeing is, and I see this with the hundreds of entrepreneurs that we work with, is that if you do a good enough job reaching the most amount of people and impressing them very well, the conversion is just going to happen very easily and very simply. You don't have to be, and trust me, we don't ever want to hear from that person that's like, buy my course, do this thing, hard ask all the time. The less you try to convert actually lead to more conversions. Put more of that energy into reaching and impressing people. That's how Eamon's been selling Grow Your Agency like freaking hotcakes. Everyone's buying in because they're already impressed on what he's doing and they believe that he is the go-to solution. But a big part of all of this is systemizing your content, because certainly in order to reach the most amount of people, you need to have way more content. And that's really my specialty. That's why people hire me. So I want to break down the exact tactics on how we implement a content system so that you can produce way more content without spending all of your time creating content. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So when it comes to systemizing your content, it's really quite simple. And with Eamon, he's certainly hitting these two types of videos so damn well. He's doing the talking head videos that are the basis of all of his content, really why his YouTube channel has grown since he started it. It's all been about those talking head videos, SMMA, personal development, and now even just being a gentleman, that chivalry, right? The other thing that he is certainly doing are those interviews, those podcasts, and this is great for growing brands where you can really get the most amount of content out of your time. So take a look at the assets column here. When it comes to assets, of course, from your talking head video, you're going to at least get one long form video. And this is one creative assistant, just so you know. Creative assistant is what we call our expert editors. These are people that are not just editors, but they're also helping manage your content, schedule, post for you, even do research on the topic so you know what to talk about in the first place. For example, your talking head should be based on trends in your industry. Well, you don't have to search for those trends. Your creative assistant does that for you. So one long form video, 3 to 5 short form videos. Now you could definitely do more than that. We see some people getting 6 or 8, but modestly speaking, 3 to 5 short form videos. Stories wise, we're doing at least 3 to 6. 3 could be one story about, hey, I just shot this video, tap right here, go take a look. And then the next 2 after that could be previews of that video itself. ABCD emails, make sure, even if you just have an email list of 10 people, you gotta make sure that you're sending out an email, because you just spent all this time thinking about a great subject. And if you're just using video, then you're not really maximizing your time the best way. Super easy. I mean, you could even plug your video script into ChatGPT and say, hey, create an email for me. But from those A/B tests, you have at least 2 of them. Now, the cool thing about interviews and podcasts is you actually get all of the assets that you get from a talking head video and a totally new medium of media that you actually, it's at least harder to get from a talking head video, is you get long form audio. And this is something that even like Alex Hormozy is doing well with his podcast. This is where you get to really nurture your audience. And again, just maximizing your time. So from the same time that you're inputting, you can get more out. So from your interview / podcast, of course, you need to be recording that interview and podcast. Even if it's a Zoom, hit record, get that video file so that you have a long form video. Long form audio, you get just one of those as well. Short form videos, you can actually crank out way more. You're getting anywhere from 4 to 6, really upwards of 8+ of your short form videos from that one interview / podcast. I've seen people even do way more than that. But again, just being modest here to give you some realistic numbers that you can anticipate when you systemize your content. And then stories wise, we're looking at the same 3 to 6. ABCD emails, we're looking at 2 again. Now let's multiply by the number of platforms that you have, right? Because let's say you have an Instagram, well then you can post those short form videos to your Instagram Reels as well as to your YouTube Shorts. So let's say you have anywhere from 2 to 4 platforms, and if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, please get one started. Hopefully this content system will allow you to do so a little more easily. Now here's where the math really checks out and what honestly just will get you excited about creating content, how many posts you can be doing when you truly systemize it. From your talking head video, you have 1 long form video, 3 to 5 short forms, plus the 3 to 6 stories, plus 2 ABCD emails, plus 1, plus 1, plus 4, plus 3, plus 2. Just simply times that by the number of platforms that you have. Let's say that's 2. You're looking at 40 posts per week. If you have 4 platforms, then you can multiply that and you're getting 80 posts per week. Times that by 4 weeks in a month, you're looking at 160 to 320 posts per month. And that's just from one creative assistant. Now keep in mind, if you just have some random editor from Fiverr, they're probably not going to keep up with the caliber, the pace of actually having these numbers be predictable on a weekly and monthly basis. The speed is going to be off, or the quality is just not going to be at the quality that you really need for your brand to stand out. But let's say that you actually have a fully trained creative assistant. Let's say you have 2 of them, right? How much content you can actually get. Now you're starting to get up to that Imangazi level, because with 2 creative assistants, you're doubling your output. You're getting literally all of these numbers at double the rate, which is absolutely huge. Times that by your 2 to 4 platforms still, you're looking at 80 to 160 posts per week and 320 to 640 posts per month. That is at that Imangazi level that you are really trying to get. So I know some of you guys aren't ready for that. Some of you guys are ready for that. So while it's great to be inspired by Imangazi's content playbook, a lot of us are not yet at that point to be producing 500, 600 posts a month. So if you're not yet at that stage, it's totally cool. Just simply subscribe to the channel, because we are bringing you way more content that goes in depth and shows you how to get to that point. Well, if you are at that point, that's what my company does. We help systemize your content so that you can predictably create the amount of content needed to grow your brand, just as some of the biggest names are doing. So if that's you just getting started, consider watching this next video. And if you are ready to actually systemize your content, find the link down below. We'll look forward to speaking with you.